We should talk real briefly about the other handheld programmer. It's called the WRT 9600. It's a rather more sophisticated device than the one that we were just dealing with here, which is the 9500, although I personally like to use both when I'm doing my programming. The easy part about the 9500 is it has the keypad, so we don't need to search for addresses. We don't need to scroll up and down through a list of addresses. We can actually go directly to a particular address. And by the way, I should point out that the timers that we have to offer in the system are shown at the bottom of the programmer with a series of different choices here. And again, it's an on timer, an off delay, or a clear. In the 9600, looks very, very similar, has that same PIR lens on the top. This is a device that can either be used one of two ways. Either as we just did with the 9500, which is through the PIR port and talks to all of these devices in exactly the same way, or there's actually a connection on the top where there's a dedicated cable that connects to the top of the device and directly to the system bus, which allows them to actually create the groups and the patterns that we just talked about. So rather than just assigning individual addresses, if we would like to talk to the system bus and actually create a group or a pattern, it takes a little bit different process than what you've just seen me go through here. And the groups and the patterns actually live in the transmission unit. The individual addresses actually live in the devices themselves. So the transmission unit stores all of the groups and patterns, and it's safe to say that you could actually pre-program all of the groups, all 127 groups and all of the 72 patterns, and never use any. They're permanently stored in non-volatile memory in the transmission unit, but again, don't need to be used. Sometimes we'll program in functions into the system that we expect to maybe be used somewhere down the road in the future. So again, it's a tool that you can use either now or later as you see fit. Again, there's an on-off switch on the side of the 9600, and typically when you turn it on, you'll hear the beep. And if we need to talk in the non-bus level programming, in other words, we're not going to tether it directly with the particular cable that we would use to talk directly to the system bus. In this particular case, we're going to talk through the PIR lens on the top. Down in the lower left-hand corner of the device is a button that says Address Set. You push that button and the screen will go blank. That tells you that it's ready to either read or send to a device. And if in fact we take our switch, as we did with the 9500, and we use read out and send just as with the 9500, we actually point this at the PIR window, and we get the long tone as we did with the 9500. We know that we have successfully talked to this device, and we see on the screen, just as we did with the 9500, exactly what the programming of this particular switch bank is. We can make changes and we can send that back in, or we can leave it as it is.